Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the legislative bonus processing for fiscal year 2026. We thank you all for taking the time to join us this afternoon. My name is Elizabeth Dessenberg, and I will be one of your facilitators today. Our forum today is scheduled from 1:30 to 3 p.m., and we really appreciate you all taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us. We are excited to walk you through this process, discuss eligibility requirements, and provide support resources for you all. For today's forum, we are joined by some folks from DHRM. They will also be answering questions and sharing some important information with you all.
Good afternoon. Hello, everyone. Again, thank you for joining us for the FY26 Legislative Bonus Processing Forum. Today, we've invited both HR administrators and payroll administrators. And now, while much of the material at the beginning of the presentation is geared toward HR administrators, there are important process details throughout the session that apply to payroll as well. So we encourage everyone to stay engaged throughout the presentation. We'll begin with an overview of the FY26 June One-Time Bonus eligibility requirements. From there, we'll walk through the enhancements that allow the bonus process to be incorporated into the existing legislative salary increase tool. We'll also briefly cover the opt-out process, although we strongly encourage agencies to use the tool this year, given the improvements that have been implemented. Next, we'll walk through the overall workflow, highlighting key processes and some of the common issues agencies encountered during last year's processing cycle. We'll demonstrate the process live in Cardinal. After the demo, we'll review the new bonus queries that we've created, discuss the mass upload process, and provide an additional demonstration before wrapping up with the available resources and support information. Finally, a copy of this presentation and the session recording will be distributed to all attendees and invitees following the forum, and additional Cardinal communications will be forthcoming. We've got a lot to cover today, so let's get started. The one-time bonus was authorized for all classified executive branch employees and other full-time Commonwealth employees, of course, except elected officials. Two key dates that we want to make sure you remember. Employees must have been hired on or before February 25th, 2026, and remain employed throughout at least May 25th, 2026 to receive the bonus. Agencies can use the legislative salary increase tool to review eligibility, verify employees, and generate mass upload data for eligible employees. Again, I would encourage you to use the tool and not opt out. Beyond the basic eligibility criteria on the previous slide, there are additional conditions in both our DHRM memo and our FAQs that are consideration points for employee eligibility. Agencies should review the full memo carefully because it does cover cases like part-time employees, what to do with employee leave status, and performance rating requirements. Employees who do not meet the criteria will be blocked in the tool. If there are questions about specific or unique eligibility scenarios, please refer to the FAQ documentation or please reach out to DHRM for support. The legislative salary increase tool has been enhanced this year to support the statewide bonus processing, with a strong focus on improving data accuracy, consistency, and alignment between HR and payroll processing. One of the biggest challenges agencies experienced during last year's bonus cycle was identifying the correct employee population and then ensuring the same validated data was used throughout the process. This year's updates are designed to address those issues directly. The tool now automatically identifies the eligible employee population using the statewide bonus eligibility criteria, and it accurately calculates the bonus amounts, reducing manual review and calculation effort. The new bonus queries will then pull verified data for both the rewards and recognition and spot processing, while also defaulting key upload values to help reduce that manual entry error. When used together, the tool and bonus queries create a more consistent and controlled process, improving data alignment between HR and payroll before agencies complete the mass upload process. So the bottom line, this creates a single verified source of truth for both HR and payroll bonus processing. So agencies have two options for processing the one-time bonus in Cardinal. Option one is to use the legislative salary increase tool. This is going to allow agencies to review eligibility, verify employees, and generate data for both rewards and recognition and the spot mass upload. Option two is to opt out and process everything manually. For smaller agencies, this may be beneficial. Agencies that opt out will not have access to the bonus queries or the automated population process, and it will significantly increase the manual processing and reconciliation. So again, we strongly encourage agencies to use the tool this year, particularly because the updated process helps reduce manual errors and will keep HR and payroll data aligned. If an agency wants to opt out of the tool, the HR administrator must select the opt-out checkbox by May 28th. This is consistent with the usual process for the statewide legislative increase tool, so this is not a unique step. Opting out applies to the entire business unit. It cannot be done for individual employees. Once opted out, no further review or verification in the tool is required. For manual processing, agencies must key data using the reward type SLB and earnings code DNB. Mass upload templates can still be used. However, they must be populated manually. Dedicated bonus queries will not be available. Opting out will essentially mean more manual work and no automated data population. So with that, now I'm going to turn it over to Kelly to speak to the tool.
Hello, HR and payroll colleagues. Good to see you today. I'm going to cover some of these slides for you and get into a little detail regarding the enhancements that have been made to the Cardinal Legislative Salary Increase tool. This slide right here depicts an interesting view of processing a large number of bonuses through HR and payroll. Whether you're using the legislative salary increase tool for bonuses or not, these steps cover work that both HR and payroll must do in order to complete the process. The first three steps are where the Cardinal system enhancements reside. The last two steps here really have not changed. You'll still be using the mass uploads to update Cardinal rewards and spot programs. So I'm going to go through these steps. Step one, the HR offices must review their active salaried employee eligibility against the criteria and remove those employees not eligible for the bonus from your list. Using the Cardinal tool, you can do this through the review and confirm process, which takes place in Cardinal between May 18th and 28th. Once your list is culled based upon eligibility criteria, agencies must verify and transition that final list to payroll for spot payment processing. This is step two, and in the tool, we call it Verify Day, the big day, Verify Day. That's May 29th. Don't forget it. Okay, next step is after you get that verified complete, you can then run your new queries with these two new queries as part of the enhancement to the tool. And the queries will give you all of the data of your that you need for the mass uploads of all of the employees that you are going to be processing bonuses for. In this step, you will, after you verify in this step, you're going to run those queries and also check to make sure that those queries look good and match one another. So then in step 4, it's time to actually complete the mass uploads. So you'll go onto the Cardinal website, you'll download the most recent version of your template, and you'll run your query. And then your query results will give you all those defaulted fields that you need in order to just do a copy paste and into the mass upload template and to process your mass upload so that you get all the eligible employees bonuses in the rewards page, and then payroll will be doing the same thing for Spot. Lastly, final step. Reconcile, reconcile, reconcile. Music to my ears. Cardinal gives agencies the tools to do this. Both payroll and HR offices have those tools. As long as you're using this particular tool, you'll have the queries and all of your necessary data in one place, and that data will be consistent. And if something isn't consistent, you verified the data on the tool itself, so you can always go back to the page. Once it's verified, it's pretty much locked down. And then after we get through all of this, on June 16th, everybody's happy to see bonus payments in their paychecks. That's the goal, right? All right, next slide. So we're going to go into these steps a little more in depth, of course, because that's what we do. Review and confirm. So we talked about this May 18th to 28th timeframe. You're going to be visiting the page, hopefully on May 18th. I think that's a Monday. The navigation to get to the page is the same as it was last year when you used it for the statewide salary increase. But we have updated the HR 354 using legislative salary increase tool job aid. So that is updated with these new processes and steps. And it also has the navigation. So please go and get that job aid. It's already available for you on the Cardinal Project website. The summary of statistics section, once you get into the tool, you do your search for the bonus cycle of FY2026 bonus and search for your business unit to pull in all of your employees on the tool. Then you can, the first thing you'll be looking at is the summary of statistics right in front of you here. And this gives you your data in the to be processed, which are the culled down results from the I would call it rules that we have built into the tool. The rules are the same as the criteria that is needed in order to be eligible for the bonus. So these rules are built into the system, and the to be processed are the employees that meet the rules. The system blocks are the people that don't meet the rules, and then the total should equal those both to be processed and blocked. And these are all of your salaried only staff, so you should see, the numbers be consistent with your current mel of salaried employees. The only real thing that's different on this page is, or what will be different, is how you search to pull your data in. Using, instead of a statewide legislative increase, you will be using FY2026 bonus and your business unit. This is your first really opportunity to look at your data and catch any discrepancies, but you'll have many more opportunities to come. Next slide. So on this same page, we're still reviewing and confirming. You're still pulling the data in and starting to analyze it. And you have a a box here called the populate the grid. So these are filters to which you can pull your detailed data in certain ways. You can only pull people in certain departments or salary plans, or you could look at just one person if you wanted to, or you could pull everybody in this is new, everybody in a job code. So that will be handy in the future. And DHRM asked us to add that particular filter, and we have, and we've also added that field to the details of the page. You also have the ability to take a look at system blocks only. So, that's a cool little filter that I hear agencies appreciate as well. Next slide. Okay. So now that you've pulled in and you've requested your data in detail, you're going to see a grid, right? You're exporting the data to a grid, and you get to confirm that everybody that's pulled down into your grid, it could be your grid of where did I talk about the 100 and go back to the previous slide. I missed one item. Thank you. So when you're pulling your grid in, I noticed down here a note where it says that you can pull in 100 employees per page onto the page itself, okay? If you have a lot more employees than that, you would probably want to use the export to Excel. You can pull up to 8,000 employees on the page, but the problem is the page can only handle about 100 rows. So, if you got 8,000 employees, that's a lot of pages to flip through. Our recommendation would be to use the export to Excel. Sorry, I missed that. Okay, let's move now into the detail pages. So here, once you finish that, that pulling that data down into the grid or onto an Excel spreadsheet, you have the ability to see the data in summary or in detail, and we're going to show you that a little later in a demo. So I won't get into any more detail here on that. But this really is your opportunity to see the data that that is currently on your employee's job and or position relative to the bonus. And this is where you are going to really spend your time confirming that all of your employees are eligible for the bonus. Review the columns carefully, paying special attention to system blocks and notes. For part-time classified employees, please confirm that prorated bonus amounts are accurate based upon their standard hours. This step is very critical in catching errors that might prevent someone from generating as a not a block. Maybe they're presenting as a block and they shouldn't be. And this might be where you would need to look at that details tab and look at the additional data fields that we provide you and the data therein to see if there's any errors. Next slide. Let's talk about system blocks a little bit. System blocks are those rules that I was talking about earlier. The rules that are written based upon the criteria in the legislation and that DHRM has provided in the memorandum. So these system blocks are going to come in automatically. Ineligible employees will be displayed as blocked in the system block column with justification details in the system notes column. If a system block is incorrect, agencies must resolve the underlying data issue within Cardinal job and or position data before the next scheduled refresh of this tool on this page. If you are unable to correct the underlying data issue that is causing an incorrect block, then submit a VCCC ticket to Cardinal. And please put Cardinal HR in subject. We'll talk more about that, of course, as well. System blocks and notes automatically update after every refresh cycle. So if you have a bad block that you need to get, you need to change, you got to find where that data is that's causing the block, make the correction on that data, and then do that before the next refresh. And then remember to come in and check that person again after the next refresh. And don't forget, the final cutoff for the final refresh is May 28th at 8 p.m. Changes made after this cutoff will not process to the tool or to the respective queries and must be handled by HR and payroll manually. So you want to try and avoid that. So don't kick the can with this process here. All right, next slide. So some common causes of system blocks probably look familiar if you've done this before. It seems that a lot of these criteria, these blocks are in play for just about every legislative authorized payment here lately. It's pretty repetitive, so they probably sound familiar to you. Hired after the cutoff date, that's going to be a block. A missing continuous state service. That's a block because that's where we determine where the hire date truly is the continuous state service date. So that field needs to be filled in incorrect. In unsatisfactory performance rating, so that would be a U, that would cause a block. On leave statuses such as unpaid leave, paid leave with an overdue return date or missing return date. Yeah, those return dates are important. So, try and get those entered as soon as you receive an updated return date from the third party vendor on those short-term disability claims. And suspended payroll status. So suspended payroll status comes into play when someone is actually on suspension or is in layoff status. So those people would be blocked and called off your list. Agencies should review their population for these common issues early in the review window and keep an eye on things as they change. Resolving these items, if they need to be resolved, before the final refresh means that your final list and your query results will be complete and accurate and consistent across HR and payroll. Those are some pretty words. All right, next slide. So we have some new causes. The first slide of common causes was really what we've seen before. They look familiar and they kind of live with us every time we do this. The next slide here is, these are new common causes. Common new causes, how about that? So these are specific to this one-time bonus. Elected officials and non-classified part-time employees are going to be automatically blocked. Classified part-time employees that work 40 hours a week, that's a bit of a mismatch in data, and that's going to be a block. So what would you need to do there? You need to go and check that standard hours field on job data and make sure that it doesn't indicate 40 hours, because that's not a part-time job. Employees with a written notice in the past 12 months after May 25th. So anybody who's received a written notice post May 25th will be blocked, as long as you have the written notice entered in Cardinal correctly. So you may need to go do a little audit on the written notices that you've issued in the last year and make sure they're all showing up correctly in Cardinal. Hint, hint. Next slide. We have some non-blocking system notes here. They may have been a block in the past, but they aren't right now for this particular process, but they may be a block in the future. So you just never can tell about these blocks. Well, you can if you read the criteria and the rules. So these are going to just show up as notes, okay? System notes. And These are things that you still should probably look at, because I think everybody's pretty hopeful we're going to see a pay increase in the next couple of months, and we're going to be back here doing this again, and citizenship will be a problem then. It's not a problem for the bonuses, but it will be a problem for the next salary increase. So you may want to go ahead and address those. VPA and missing performance. We're not blocking here, but if you are a VPA / classified employee, you should have your performance rating in Cardinal. So please take a look at those and address that. There is also a payroll note for monthly and SM2. This is informational only, no impact on processing. Agencies should review and address them, and try and get that work done ahead of time in case we're doing this again in a couple of months. Next slide. Agencies can also block. Okay, you can do manual blocks if you need to. We put as much as we can in the system, but we know that there are last minute changes that happen that you can't get into the system to make the change and have it update your extracts, your queries. So you would want to manually block. See the checkbox right there on the screen, the agency block checkbox. So you would pull that employee's, go to that employee's data row and click that agency block checkbox, and then type in a brief comment of why the person is being manually blocked. And those reasons may be that you have a performance rating of U or L that were not yet entered into Cardinal, or you have a termination that was not keyed before the last refresh, which was the 28th of May. Okay, next slide. The refresh schedule. This is very important. We have this posted, I think, on the website. You also will see it in the information section on the page. This is important to keep in mind. Actually, put it on your calendars maybe. These are your refreshes. So if you go in and you're correcting data because you got something blocked and it shouldn't be, or you termed someone and you want to check and make sure that they do block after the next refresh. So these are your refreshes. So these are when you would come back and check again to make sure that whatever you did previously took as you expect it to, and that your final list is looking better, right? If you're trying to get your list to where it needs to be 100%, these are your refreshes, and you will use this 10-day window to get that done. So the first refresh is on May 15th at 8 p.m. And that's actually when we open the program up. And so then, like Saturday morning, if you're in the mood and want to check, you can probably find your data in the system there. And then the first refresh is Wednesday the 20th. I mean, that's the second refresh. The third refresh is Tuesday the 26th, final refresh Thursday the 28th. So remember, the final refresh is really what's important the most, because after that refresh, you're gonna see a verify, and any changes you key won't be there. Okay, next slide. Speaking of verify, on May 29, when you come in the office, you should see this verified checkbox when you pull up your data. And this is, Friday the 29th is an important day for us to get out there and make 100% sure our list is as it should be, and or manually block if not, click your verified button and save that. And then once you have completed, that, then you can, if you complete the checkbox and for some reason you needed to manually block someone, you forgot to manually block someone and you need to do that, you can unclick the verified button and then do your manual block and then re-click the verified button. But you have to do it on the 29th and you have to do that before 6 p.m. Okay. Only business units that have verified and contain eligible employees in their verified results will get data in your bonus queries. Okay. If you didn't verify your data, you won't get any data in your bonus query when you go to run it, which is the next thing you're really going to do, after everything is verified. Okay. All right. Now we are in the stage in which we would either roll into questions or we would roll into the demo.
We have a few questions.
All
So
right.
let's get started there. Stacy from VDOT asks, is there anything preventing agencies from doing their mass uploads early? So if you are using the tool and you verify, you have to wait till the 29th because you will not get that checkbox like Kelly just said until the 29th. So you've got to wait until that. And then the date on both of those mass uploads, effective date, is June 1st. So if there's anything else in the system prior to that date, between the 29th, 30th, you could run into some issues. But I don't think there's anything preventing you. Otherwise, you can wait till Monday and upload those. Same thing if you're opting out. It's just a measure of if you are going to be, if there's any issue or anything that's in its way, it may air out on that particular row for a particular reason or not. So next comment was from PSB. If you didn't notice, and you are a PSB agency, they're holding a participating agency meeting on Friday. So you'll get additional direction from them related to this process and how they're going to work with you as your payroll administrators. We had a question about continuous state service date. Is there a query where they can see where that's blank?
Yes, it's actually shoot, can't think of the name of it. It's a report. It's the leave of service report. Years of service. Sorry, not leave. The years of service report has the continuous state service date on it, which is actually the state service date. Job query has continuous state service.
State begin date.
State begin date. Yes. And I think it's pulling from that field as well.
Natalie, we have a couple of questions about performance ratings. Do you want to add anything additional or ask people to review the frequently asked questions?
So for the performance ratings, there were a couple of questions. One, if you're not using PageUp, PageUp actually has a data feed that feeds the performance ratings into Cardinal. So if you're using PageUp, those ratings should update in the system and be reflected when you're doing this process. If you're not using PageUp, there still is a mass upload tool. So you'll need to use the mass upload to update your ratings in Cardinal so that they're reflected appropriately. For all classified employees, no matter what system you use for performance management, Cardinal is the system of record, and those ratings should be reflected in the system of record, even if your agency is using a separate solution. Another question that was asked was, what happens if my employee doesn't have a rating. Performance is one of the eligibility requirements that was legislated for them to receive the bonus. So it is an agency's responsibility to ensure that they have some documentation that reflects that the employee is performing at a level that is consistent with the ratings that we've noted in our FAQ, so that you are making those decisions consistently with other state employees.
All right. I think we're okay. Ready for our demo from Rumi. So Rumi, kick us off.
Thank you, Jolene, and thank you, Kelly. My name is Ramika Kopa, and we will now walk through the key steps and best practices for completing your review. So in this portion of the demo, we will be verifying our employees' bonus in the Cardinal Legislative Salary Increase tool. Please note the employees and data shown on the screen are made up for demo purposes only. Here we're starting at the home page. And we're going to go to the upper right-hand corner and click the nav bar. We will select the menu, Workforce Administration, Job Information, Legislative Salary Increase, and Legislative Salary Increase Review. Here, you're going to select your bonus cycle. And then we will enter a business unit. For demo purposes, we will be using 76600. Click search. Once the page loads, you will go ahead and see the instructions. Please read the instructions. We do recommend reviewing the instructions on the page, as they may be updated throughout the processing cycle. Once reviewed, you can choose to close it using the caret icon, and this will free up some space on your screen. Here in the summary statistics section that Kelly covered with you in a previous slide, you have the opt-out checkbox, your BU, your business unit, any eligible employees to be processed, any system or agency blocked employees, and your total count. Over here on your populate grid section on the right, this is where you can filter by department, your salary admin plan, employee ID, and job code fields. You may also choose to filter by selecting the system block checkbox right here, if you would like to filter for your list of blocked employees only. So now we will go ahead and populate the grid. Scroll down. In the salaried employee level section here on the left, you can see that there's a summary tab and a details tab. Here you will be able to view the system blocks, any system notes, agency comments, and your salary bonus information right here. Now, if we come over to the left and click the details tab, in the details tab, you're able to view more columns, and some of these columns are related to the data fields for the bonus criteria, like the standard hours for verifying the part-time classified employees and continuous state service. And you can see those two columns are right here. So we'll move back over to the left and click on summary. And as you can see, we have 3 blocked employees. For demo purposes, I will add an agency block for an employee. And we're going to do that for Wimma Flintstone. And we'll go ahead and select the agency block checkbox and add in the agency comment. And once you add the agency comment, then you go ahead and click save. Now you can see here in the to be processed, we went from 8 to 7, and now we have 1 agency blocked employee. Coming back down, we also have an employee, Pebbles Flintstone, that is blocked due to a continuous state service that is missing. So we'll go ahead and fix that. We'll copy the employee's ID number. I'll go ahead and return to search. Let's go ahead and clear the information. And now we're going to navigate to the job data page. Go ahead and click menu, workforce administration, job information, and job data. Here, you're going to enter in that employee ID you copied and select include history, then search. Okay, so now the employee's job data page is displayed. We can see that the top row is 8/25/25, effective sequence 1. If we scroll down to the employment data tab, you click that, and then you can scroll down to see the continuing state service date, and it's blank. So in order to fix this, we're going to go back to the job data page. And now we'll go to look at the state begin date. Okay, for this employee specifically, it's going to be their hire. We're going to copy that effective date and navigate back to the top row. Okay, from here, I'm going to add a new effective dated row by selecting the plus icon. And as you can see, the effective date defaults back to the current date, which is today. We do not want to use this date. What we're going to do is update today's date with 8/25/25. Okay. And the reason why we use the same effective date as the previous row is to avoid blocking any transactions that have yet to be keyed. Then we're going to change the effective sequence, and we're going to effective sequence it by 1. For this example, we are going to do 2. And this is because this employee already has an effective sequence 1. Now we are going to select the action and change it to data change. And the reason will be leave eligibility date. We'll scroll down to the bottom, select the employment data tab, and then we'll go back to the continuous state service date, and we'll paste in that state begin date, like so. From here, we would go ahead and click save. Okay. And we will return to search. Okay. So what we're going to show today is a final refresh. Now we will navigate back to the salary legislative review page. And we will go back to the nav bar. We'll select menu. We will select the legislative salary increase and the legislative salary increase review.
So in the background, we're just running, there's a wizard behind here running this process, which normally runs at night. You saw all those refresh dates. That's happening in the background right now. And it's almost done. And we'll get back to that, but we do have one question from David. David asked if he can start on this report today.
You mean the years of service report?
I think he meant running working in this tool is my guess, David. That's what I'm gonna translate. But you could run the years of service.
If you're referring, David, if you're referring to the years of service report, you can run that. The tool is not opened yet. You can't run anything in there yet. We're not opening the tool until Friday
So Friday night.
night
That
after
refresh will
hours.
Run at 8 o'clock. If you want to come in on Saturday, it would be available for you. But you should expect a Cardinal communication out on Monday morning to provide additional directions. But there are some activities you could do before to make sure you're prepped. All right, the wizard has told me he's done.
Sounds good. So now we will go ahead and reselect the bonus cycle. We have the FY26 bonus demo, and then enter your business unit 76600 and click search. So we'll go ahead and just close the instructions so you can see. And here in the summary statistics section, we have that new verified checkbox that was mentioned before. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to click populate grid. And this is so that we can verify that the data is accurate, which now we can see for Pebbles Flintstone, that continuous state service system block note is gone. And we still have Weymouth Flintstone as an agency block. So if everything looks good, we go ahead and select that verify button at the top and click save. Okay. Now, just a reminder again, the final refresh will happen on Thursday, May 28th, and on Friday, May 29th, the agency must certify the data by selecting the verified checkbox and saving. Please be sure to repeat the process for all business units for which you are responsible for. Now we will continue with our presentation.
Thank you, Rumi. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jolene. We'll let Rumi navigate back to the slides.
Not popping up. Hold on 1 second.
1 second, a little technical difficulty here.
It's being trifling.
And we're good. Give me 1 second.
We might have to reshare.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. My name's Jolene Christensen, and I'm going to be covering the bonus query and mass update portion of today's presentation. At this point in the process, you saw that Rumi already showed us the verification in the tool, and it's been complete. So this section is going to focus on the next activities that must be completed after verification is finalized. And remember, that verification needs to be finalized by May 29th at 6 p.m. Hopefully before, otherwise people are going to be, starting to call and reach out and see where your verification is, because we'll start reporting on that early on Friday morning. Next slide. Once verification is complete, agencies will run the 2 new bonus queries to extract data from the tool. Then admins will validate the query data, complete the associated mass upload activities for both rewards and recognition and spot processing. We'll first walk through these slides, and then Rumi will come back and demonstrate the process live in Cardinal at the end of this section. The timeline for this portion, as you can see on this slide from June 1st through June 5th, is very tight. So agencies that spend the time up front scrubbing data and resolving issues in the tool will have a much smoother validation and mass upload process. Because this process requires coordination between HR and payroll, close collaboration between the teams are important throughout this process. Next slide. HR administrators should run both queries at the same time after verification is complete. The HR Legislative Bonus Review Mass Upload Query and the HR Legislative Bonus Spot Mass Upload Query, highlighted on this slide, were created by Cardinal to support a more efficient and consistent process for agencies. In addition from pulling the verified information directly from the tool, the queries will also default in many of the values required for the associated mass upload process, reducing manual entry and processing errors. The rewards and recognition query populates the data for the rewards and recognition mass upload, and the spot bonus query populates the data for the spot earnings mass upload. These queries should only be used for the legislative bonus process. One important thing to note, if an employee's status changes after verification is complete, such as you've heard of a termination that was identified after the final refresh, didn't have and you've already verified and you didn't have a chance to update it in the tool, agencies can't update the tool, but instead you're going to go ahead and manually prevent that employee from receiving the bonus during this part of the process by removing them from the extracted data. Next slide. You'll notice that there's several values that are automatically defaulted, as I mentioned earlier, on this bonus rewards mass upload query. What's on this page is informational only. Agencies do not need to manually update those fields unless a correction is required. If any changes are made to the rewards and recognition query, for instance, you've removed an employee who should not be receiving it, then the same change also needs to be made to the spot query to keep both files aligned. When you run these queries, if no results are returned, you need to confirm that the business unit contains eligible employees and that the verified checkbox was selected and saved in the tool. So you can't run these queries before verification, and you can't verify until May 29th. Next slide. Now we're going to talk about the mass upload template. As a best practice, agencies should always download a new version of any mass upload template before processing. These templates are updated periodically, and using an older version may impact the upload process or result in errors. For this process, agencies should download the HR 409 Rewards and Recognition Mass Upload before June 1st, if you haven't used this process before. We also recommend testing access for the macro-enabled spreadsheet early to avoid any security or access issues resulting from agency laptops or network settings. Don't wait till June 5th to do this. Verify that the file remains macro-enabled and do not save it as a different file type. Rumi will show this live, but you will copy and paste the query results from this extract query, the query results from what you downloaded from the system into the mass upload template, skipping the first column and starting with the employee ID column. Once the data has been uploaded into the template, click the button at the top of the spreadsheet to generate the CSV file. After the CSV file has been created, do not reopen or resave the file, as that may corrupt the upload file. And don't forget, all of these instructions are in the job aid for the mass upload template. Next slide. Agencies should complete the rewards and recognition mass upload before sending the spot file to payroll whenever possible, since any errors identified during the upload process may also impact the spot query data. However, if the June 5th payroll deadline is approaching and your payroll admin is knocking at your door, you're going to want to go ahead and pivot and send your spot file to payroll to ensure employees are paid on time. One critical reminder over on the right is if you encounter any errors during the mass upload process, stop immediately. Do not re-upload the file. Re-uploading can cause duplicate bonus rows and significantly increase cleanup and reconciliation effort. Last year, several agencies repeatedly uploaded the same file after receiving errors, which resulted in duplicate records and required manual correction and delayed processing. If an upload error occurs, please contact Cardinal support for assistance by emailing BCCC and including Cardinal Mass Upload in the subject line. And that's why we strongly encourage agencies not to wait until June 5th to begin processing. The earlier agencies can do this validation and uploads, the more time it will be to identify any issues and resolve errors before the payroll deadline. Next slide. So this is the point in the process where payroll administrators become more involved. Up to this point, payroll has visibility into the overall process, confidence that the HR administrators have completed their eligibility review and verification activities in the tool, along with validating both bonus queries. At this stage, the HR administrator is going to provide payroll with a validated Excel file extracted directly from Cardinal using the spot earnings bonus query. Payroll will use this file to complete the spot earnings mass upload process and ensure employees receive their bonus payments accurately and on time. Because this file is generated from verified data in the tool, it also includes defaulted upload values. This process should streamline data for all agencies and be more consistent than in prior years. We're displaying some of the defaulted values included in this query on this slide for informational purposes. In addition, State Payroll Operations, SPO, will be distributing a payroll bulletin to payroll administrators with more detailed guidance and processing instructions specific to bonus processing in the next day. Payroll administrators should review it carefully as part of their bonus processing activities. Next slide. This slide outlines the spot earnings mass upload process at a high level. Begin by downloading the latest spot earning mass upload template. Copy the data from the spot bonus query file into the template. When you're preparing the upload files, agencies, payroll administrators should separate employees by company and pay group before creating the CSV files. That's if you have multiple companies and/or multiple pay groups. When copying this data into the template, you'll exclude the first two columns from the query output. Once the files are prepared, save each file as a CSV and include the company and pay group in the file name, or follow your agency's standard naming and tracking conventions for spot payment files. After completing the mass upload, review and resolve any errors before moving forward with the process, such as posting. So at this point, we have both the rewards and recognition information and the spot information uploaded. Spot's been posted. After payroll is confirmed on June 10th, HR administrators can now go in and run the reconciliation query that's listed on this slide here. Sorry, next slide. The HR review pay recon query. This reconciliation query only returns discrepancies. So if you get no results returned, no further action is needed. At this point, I'm going to transition back over to Brumi, who's going to walk us through a demonstration of the rewards and recognition query and the mass upload process that we just reviewed.
So let me go back to the homepage. For our second demo, we will briefly go over the steps you need to take to process your files. I will only be demoing the rewards and recognition mass upload today, but I will be downloading both the reward and spot queries. You will navigate to the query viewer. And go to the nav bar, menu, scroll down to reporting tools, query, and then select query viewer. Here you're going to want to search and select the bonus extract for the reward query and the bonus extract for the spot query by entering the beginning of the query name. It's V_HR_LEG_bonus. Click search. Okay. Now, please note that the name of the queries is included in the slide deck and in the job aid. These two queries right here will only pull the data that has been verified. So now we are going to run both to Excel. Here you'll see your salary bonus cycle. Go ahead and select that. And then you would type in your business unit, 76600, and click View Results. And now on the right-hand side, you can see that it's downloading. So we will go back and do the same thing for the spot query. Run to Excel here. Select the bonus cycle and the business unit. View results. And that one has downloaded as well. Okay, so once the reward and spot query file has downloaded, you will need to review the results from the query to ensure that the count at the top matches the number of employees to be processed. To do this, you will navigate to your downloads folder and open both queries. Go ahead and close these two out. So here you can see, let me make this bigger for you guys, that there is the spot query here, and then there's also the reward query. And we'll open up both. All right. So in the reward here at the top, you can see the count is 8. Are you guys able to see this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And on the spot query as well, that count matches.
So both say 8. You pull up the reward query back up. Make that a little bit bigger. Please note when copying and pasting the data from the query file into the mass upload templates, begin copying from the employee ID column. For the rewards and recognition, this is going to be column B. So you will not copy column A, which is the business unit. For the rewards and for the spot query, you'll be copying from column C on over, and you will skip column A and B. The output of the query is sorted based on the first columns, so the sort order of the actual employee may be different in the two files. For the spot query, Cardinal recommends filtering the spreadsheet for pay group to create separate mass upload files for each pay group. For the spot payment, the HR admins will need to send the downloaded spot file over to the payroll admin for processing. So I'm going to copy this data right here, starting with column B. I'm going to minimize that. So again, please be sure to download the mass upload templates from the Cardinal website to have the most updated version. I have already downloaded the latest version of the templates. We're going to go ahead and open up the HR 409 rewards and recognition mass upload template. And then the data that we had copied, we are going to paste that in here. Okay. Once the data has been copied and pasted into the template, please ensure that the format has not changed and the columns are aligned. Once everything looks correct, you will select the Create CSV File button here. You'll navigate to the folder where you plan on saving your files. I've created a demo folder, and we'll click Save. And here you can see a message that says created successfully. You'll select OK. Please note that once you save the CSV file, if you need to make changes to it, then you will need to create a new one. Please do not edit the CSV file. Now, when you're ready to upload, then you're going to navigate back to Cardinal. Okay. From here, you would select Menu. And you're going to scroll down to Cardinal Interfaces. Select HR Interfaces, Mass Uploads. And then you'll select Rewards and Recognition Upload. Once you get to this page here, you are going to want to add a new value. For demo purposes, I will just name it Demo Bonus. And this will create your new Run Control ID. Now we are going to search and select the file that we saved, that CSV file. Choose a file. Go to your folder. And you can see it's right here. So I'm going to select that and open. Click Upload. And then you're going to select Run. Once the process scheduler request page opens, you can select OK. And then you will see a process instance number display. Now, what you will do is select the process monitor and the process monitor page will open up. What you would like to see here is the run status to success and posted. You can select details or actions to navigate to the view log trace. Once you select that, you can see your reward upload log right here. I'll select that, and you can see now that the total number of rows is 8, and it matches the number that's on both of our queries. And we have 0 errors. If there are any failures, then you can go into the error log. So if you go back here to the view log trace, there is an error log down here. Select that, and the error information would be displayed right here for you. Now we will continue with the rest of the presentation.
All right, we have a couple of questions coming in before we flip back to the slides, but we'll go ahead and have Remy navigate back to that. Please note if you're a PSB agency, Shannon's made a clarification in the chat about what agencies are responsible for, and you'll have your agency participation meeting on Friday. There was a question that came in from DOC about how many, what's the batch number that we recommend in mass uploads? And this really affects agencies that have a large number of users and that they received an error last year. So our suggestion is about 2,000 for those uploads. So I know that will mean multiple for some agencies that have over that. If you have a specific question, feel free to send us in a ticket and we can discuss that. But that's our recommendation for now.
Yeah, I'd like to interject too that, we only loaded 8 employees here in our demo. That took a second. If you're loading 800, it's going to take minutes. If you're loading 8,000, you might get errors. So be cognizant of that. The processing monitor is, it's going to run and it'll show that it is processing, and you can keep refreshing it and refreshing it until it populates as successful. If it fails, then don't try and do it again. Stop what you're doing there and put in a ticket right away to Cardinal PPSHR.
Lauren has a question about access to the rewards and recognition mass upload. If you recognize you do not have that access, you're going to have to enter a security form. So you're going to navigate to the Cardinal website, look under security. Please make sure that you have your current access as well as any additional access that you need for that when you fill that out. Just scanning quickly. If you're a payroll as a payroll administrator, you wouldn't normally have the rewards and recognition access. That upload should typically be done by an HR administrator. And there is typically a separation of duties between those who have HR administrator and payroll administrator. So if you can identify the individual who has that HR administrator role and confirm that they have that access, that would be ideal. We have a couple of questions that have come in about effective date. The demo for uploading, it is 6/1 on the demo.
So I think Kathy McGill answered that question in the chat. The 6/1 effective date is for the spot transactions. I believe the rewards and recognition are going to be 5/25. So the HR reward recognition is 5/25, but spot will be 6/1. It's a bonus, so it's
The
not,
rewards is also 6-1. They're
oh,
both
they're
6-1.
both 6-1?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
both those queries are defaulting it to
6-1.
6-1. That
Yeah, I mean,
is-
it's a bonus, so as long as it gets processed within the pay period, the employees are gonna get it, right? It's not like, the new comp rate starts on the 25th and it has to be the 25th because it's not a base pay, it's a bonus. So, anytime you're paid a bonus within the pay period, you're gonna get your bonus.
So we have a question about what the payroll administrator does. Their responsibility is for taking that information that the HR administrator downloaded from the spot bonus query, and then uploading that into the spot earnings mass upload. Payroll administrators are the only ones that can upload spot earnings. And once those are uploaded into the system, they are posted by a different person. So, and if you're a PSB agency, then PSB is going to be handling that portion of this activity for you. Question about the awards, the payout date, the award payout award date. The payout date is 6/16. All right, we have a few more slides to go over, which we'll go over quickly and see if we have any more questions at the end. We've come to the end related to support. So in this section, we're going to be talking about some of the support tools and resources that you can utilize back in the office.
Next slide, please.
The Cardinal website has a wealth of information, as you already know. So if you haven't had an opportunity to bookmark this page overall, I would encourage it. There is a specific page that we have linked on the slide deck that came out to you. That is associated for the legislative salary increase tool and this bonus. And on that, we include a lot of job aids. We include our communications that will be going out. We also link DHRM's communication and their FAQs. It has the refresh dates on it. It should really be your one-stop shop as we're going through this process. We've also noted some of our favorite job aids or job aids we have referenced in this deck, as well as important queries that either you should be running for this bonus process or you should be running periodically to ensure that your data is correct. And then finally, a couple of reports over on the right-hand side. Next slide. All of the mass load uploads are on the same Cardinal website, as I mentioned, and several times during this session. Always need to download the latest mass upload template. So if you go to cardinalproject.virginia.gov/mass uploads, you'll be able to view all of the templates that were referenced here today. And at the bottom, don't forget, as I mentioned earlier, there's a job aid for how to do a mass upload. And if you haven't done a mass upload, either you want to phone a friend, or I'd recommend using the job aid because it does step you through how to do it. Read that first before you start uploading to avoid errors and additional corrections. The next slide is related to DHRM support resources. So linked on this will be the one-time bonus memo that DHRM put out earlier this month. The frequently asked questions. And if you have general inquiries, you're going to reach out to iHelp. But if you have compensation or policy questions related to the bonus, you're going to reach out to compensation@dhrm.gov. and DHRM's memos posted at the bottom under the compensation and classification webpage at DHRM. If you haven't submitted a Cardinal ticket, we want you to make sure that you always put Cardinal in the subject line. That makes sure that it gets routed to us and not VITA or some other agency. So that automatically goes to us, and as much information as you can put in the subject will help us route it quicker. So if you put Cardinal HR or Cardinal Bonus, we'll get it to whoever needs to have eyes on it even quicker. So if you have a page that's not working, login issues, technical questions, or need support with Cardinal functions, you're going to reach out to us and enter a ticket. All right, we have a few minutes for a couple of questions.
Let's see, we do seem to still have some questions around the effective dates and the payout dates. And one other question we got is, if an employee retires on June 1st, are they eligible for the bonus?
Yes. So what's different this year than last year's bonus is that if employees are active, effective 5/25, they're going to get the bonus. So you won't have to delete them all. So yes, retirees, if they're planning to retire effective the beginning of the month, they're still going to receive the bonus if they were eligible and actively employed through the effective period.
If an employee is an alien permanent as citizenship status, will that person be eligible for the bonus?
If the employee is eligible to work for the state, for the agency, then yes, they are also eligible to receive this bonus compensation.
I think we have one last question. If an employee is on administrative leave through the end of their contract, June 24th, 2026, which will conclude their employment with the Commonwealth, would they be eligible for the bonus?
So I think that's a great question. Tara, let's talk offline about the situation with a contract close. I know that higher education has a lot of unique circumstances for their contract staff when they're no longer actively employed. I know that typically higher education who do have other additional rules and policies tied to compensation, many of them delay paying the bonus until the beginning of the new contract award period. So I think that's just a nuance that maybe we should just take offline. I don't think there's a general answer that we can provide here.
I think that's all the questions.
All right.
Sorry, one more question because I know this has come up and it is included in our FAQs. Again, so the question is around performance issues for an employee. So the legislation has two eligibility components. One, they cannot have an active written notice within the previous 12-month period. The other piece is that they do need to meet the performance criteria. So if they're under a disciplinary action tied to their performance, that's an agency decision. The system's not going to automatically block, but the agency certainly can block that person from receiving the bonus if they have deemed that they are not eligible.
Now, would they still keep coming in?
So I know that we're running out of time. So again, we're happy to respond to questions even outside of this forum. Feel free to reach out to the DHRM compensation mailbox or iHelp, depending on what your questions are. And we will try to make sure that we address all of them.
Great. We want to thank everybody for their time today. As mentioned earlier, a copy of this presentation and a recording will be going out probably later this week. The tool will run on Friday night. So if you want to come in on Saturday and Sunday and start, that's great, but you should wait for our communication that's going out on Monday, which will provide just a little bit more guidance. If not, ensure you're using the job aid, frequently asked questions, and the Cardinal website to support your activities for this bonus process. Thanks, everybody.